Hello friends, my name is Shivam from Debug.School and I will help you to enable your learning process in various technologies of DevOps, artificial intelligence, machine learning, big data and many more. This is our initiative to help you by sharing multiple tutorials and videos. And if you want any specific tutorials on any particular topic, then please do comment in the below comment section and I will help you with it. Also, please subscribe to our premium services on YouTube, which will give you access to more content and videos to enhance your knowledge about all these topics. Also, if you want me to help you with regards to the online trainings and classroom sessions by our qualified trainers, then please do write me at contact@devopschool.com. Thank you.
So lots of people will say that it is a Google for all your logs, but that was very old definition. But currently, I think from last 1 years, Splunk is promoting it as a data to everything platform. So what they do is they collect all the data into its platform, that is Splunk Enterprise, and then they apply all the analytics. So they have lots of use cases that they can do. And we are not just a log monitoring solution or just a log container. So we can do multiple use cases. So you will see them one by one. So Splunk is basically data to everything platform that can help you convert your data into actionable insights, and you can convert any use case into business outcomes. Okay, so as we know that every company has a lots of real-time machine data, and that data will be coming from either our network devices, security devices, or some data streams like we have NetFlow or ECAP, or then we have new technology that we find very hard to integrate into any of the solution. And then we see every day we are having new devices coming on board. Like some are custom applications that depend like how your company is and which kind of devices you have. But Splunk is not limited to any data source. So you will not find any guide on Splunk which will say that these are only the compatible devices that you can integrate with Splunk, like you find with all other vendors. Like if you go with McAfee, AXA, Curadar, then they will have a guide that will tell you these are the devices that you can integrate. But with Splunk, you can integrate any devices, and logs can be into any format, either their structured data or unstructured data. So we know that when we have lots of data coming in from different data sources, then to turn that real-time data into action is really hard. And there are lots of reasons for that. Sometimes we have data lake, we have data into silos, we have different devices. So every company on an average have around 15 to 17 data sources like firewall, IPS, IDS, or some router switches, then a few servers. And if they require a dedicated tool for each of the layer or each of the tool to monitor them, then they will also require a dedicated team. Like firewall guy will be only managing firewall, and security IPS IDS team will be managing IPS IDS, server team will be managing all the servers. And then it gets really hard to get the insight, like to know what is actually happening in your environment. So firewall team will be able to see if there is any traffic coming from malicious IP or some suspicious IPs is going to hit our servers or firewall. And then server team will be knowing if there is a brute force attack or some user is logging from different geolocation. But if you have to correlate that, that is really hard. And what that will do is that will create a war room. So you will, so whenever an incident will happen in your organization, then what you will do is you will just pinpoint finger at other team, like this was the mistake of firewall team or mistake of server team. But you will never be able to do the RCA. And if you have to do RCA for that, that can take multiple days or multiple weeks. That depend on the impact of the incident that you had. And according to a report, if you have to identify a breach, then it will take approximately 69 days to just to know that there is a breach in your company. And average time for that is around, I will say, 169 days. So that is around 6 to 7 months. So even if there's attacker into network, if you have malware attack or some data breach is going on, then you will be getting to know about that after 6 months. And then you have to contain that. To contain that, we again take 1 or 2 months. And then after 1 or 2 months, we make that public. So you can see there is a time wastage of around 6 to 7 months on an average for every company. And if we are having any attacker for 6 months in our network, then you can imagine how much impact they can make, or how much reputation loss we can have. So these are few reasons that we are not able to turn the data into actionable insight. So that's where Splunk come in picture. So Splunk is a data to everything platform, and we can do use cases across industries. Like we can do IT ops, we can do security ops, we can do application development. Then we can do use cases on business processes and IoT as well. But if you look at other platform like Nagios, or you can say for ServiceNow, or, or you have some SIM solution like McAfee or IBM Corridor, then they can only tackle one single use case. So IBM Corridor, McAfee, or any other SIM, they can only work with security use cases because they are just a SIM solution. But when we talk about Splunk, so Splunk is just not a SIM solution, it is more than that. So we can help customers have any use cases, and we can understand their pain point, and we can just resolve the issue that they have. Okay, so what we do is we take data into any structure, either the structured data or unstructured data, and then we have capability to ingest data from any other data sources, and we can do it on any time scale, either it is historical data or it is into real time. So Splunk will not be having any delay in getting log from your devices to Splunk, because Splunk is not working on pull and push mechanism like other SIEM solutions that are in market. So what we do is when we have all the data into our data platform, that is Splunk Enterprise. So we try to monitor the data, we analyze that, and we act on the data or act on an incident that we have. And let me talk about few differentiators that Splunk have. So first thing, Splunk is not having any database in the backend to store the log. Like if you talk about IBM Corridor or McAfee, so IBM has PostGRE database and McAfee has MySQL. So when you have a database in the backend to store the data, then what you are doing is you are allowing only compatible devices to be integrated. And whenever you will be having new data source, that time it will be very hard to integrate. And this is the reason those those solutions are not easy to scale up, or those solutions are not able to integrate any unknown data source or custom data source. But when we talk about Splunk, we are not having any database in the backend. So what we can do is we can allow any data source to be integrated, because we are storing logs into flat file system. And when we store log into flat file system, we can do anything on our data. We can extract any information, and Splunk will do that on scheme on the fly. So whenever we make a search on the dashboard, we do that on the fly. So we are not making any changes into our index data that we are indexing. So this is one of the reasons that Splunk can ingest data from any data sources, or from any structure, either it is structured data or unstructured data. And then we have capability to ingest data from any data sources, as we talk about that. And then we allow customers to have an investigative data lake. So we will not ask you to aggregate the data first, or we will not ask you to normalize the data. So we allow customers to have a data lake where they can just go and ask any question from their data, and Splunk will be happy to answer that. And Splunk also believe in reusing the data. So initially, when you purchase Splunk Enterprise, that is our data platform, and after 6 months, you just example, you want to have UBA or Splunk Enterprise Security, that is same solution. So what we will do is we will just reuse the data that is already existing into our data platform, that is Splunk Enterprise, and it will be just like plug and play. You can just install the app that is for Splunk Enterprise Security or Splunk UBA, and you can just use the existing data that is there for last 6 months or 1 year. And then Splunk work on innovation. So Splunk keep on innovating new way of getting more data, and then Splunk backend team, or you can say Splunk R&D team, work on new use cases. So whenever there will be a new attack in wild, so what Splunk will do is Splunk will create a rule for that, and they will provide us with the use case in next 14 days. So Splunk, you can say Splunk give us update every 14 days for the ES content update that we call it as. So as I said, Splunk can ingest any data into any structure from any data source and into any time scale, and then we can just act on the data. So any doubt till here? Okay. Okay, so let's talk about some limitation of existing SIEM solution that I market, like we have Logarithm or IBM Corridor or Arcside. So they are only limited to security threat, and it is really difficult to collect non-security data from them. And they are costly because first thing, they are only able to do one use case, that is security, but still they are costly. And then if you have to collect data from a non-standard data source or a custom data source, then you require some collectors for that, like Arcside has its own smart connectors or flex connectors. And then they store data into a database, or you can say into store schema. And it is really difficult to onboard new data source, but if somehow you are able to integrate that, then next challenge will be to writing a parser. So if you're not aware what parser is, so parser will allow you to make your machine data into readable form, and it will extract the field like source IP or destination IP or username, or you can say port number. So parser will help you extract all this detail, and then they will help us to build the use case. So if you are not able to integrate, then writing parser will be really difficult. And if you write a new parser for a custom data source, then that can take very long time, because first thing, you should be very good with rejects, or you need to involve the Splunk PS team for that. And then it is really inflexible into searching and reporting, and that can hamper our investigations and threat detection. So in my experience, I have seen some SIM solution, they can take multiple days to extract the report. Like if you have to extract the report for a last month that we have to give to a customer, so it can take around more than 24 hours sometime. And sometimes it is really slow, and that can impact our search and reporting. And next issue is that they are not able to scale up very easily, and then they are not having any deployment into cloud. But some vendors are rolling out a solution that can be implemented into cloud now. So I have seen there was a customer, Airtel. So they were using IBM Corridor, and their EPS count was more than 1 lakh. And after that, they had a use case that they wanted to do for the, I think, for telecom devices, and they were not able to scale up with IBM Corridor. Also, they were not able to integrate those devices into Corridor, because they can only do security use case, and then it was a different use case for telco. So after that, they approached Splunk, because Splunk is really flexible and they can do any use case whatever they want to do, and it is really easy to scale up in Splunk. And other limitation that I see is that they are really difficult to deploy and manage. So first thing, they come into hardware boxes mostly, and then there is no support for business apps. So, and sometimes they have multiple product, like they have different product for SOAR platform and different for SIM. And then if you want to monitor some servers only, then for that they will be having different product. And then other challenge that I see is that they are not very seamless into integration with UB and SOAR platform, because some vendor will not open up their API for them, because they are competing in the same region. Like if you talk about IBM Corridor and Palo Alto, so they are competing in the SOAR region. So it gets really difficult to go with different solutions and pay again and again. And if I have to compare Splunk with traditional SIEM solution that I market, so Splunk can index any type of data from any data sources, and Splunk will be keeping all the original data, or you can say raw data, into its indexes, and it will be searchable. So if you have a audit going on, so in audit you need to have at least 6 months of raw data as per your compliance, or maybe 1 year, that depends which compliance you are following. So Splunk can keep all the raw data intact, and for that you need not to have a different storage or different solution. Like for McAfee, if you have McAfee SIEM, then you need to have the ELS or ELM that will have your raw log. And same way for IBM Corridor, you need to have some nodes. So nodes will store the raw data. But in Splunk, it is really straightforward. You can have all the data as the raw data, and everything that we will do, all the operations or analytics, that will be done on the fly. So whenever we make a search, it will not impact the raw data. And then Splunk is built with big data architecture that will enable us to scale up and speed up very easily. And Splunk is really flexible into searching and reporting. So you can just ask a question to Splunk and it will answer that. And then the first question will lead you to the asking second question, third question, until you get the desired result. And then Splunk is a single product, single UI, and single data store. So as I said, Splunk is a data platform, data to everything platform. So it will be having all the data stored into Splunk Enterprise that we see as the data platform. And Splunk is only a software. You can install that on any of the hardware, like if you have Linux hardware, Red Hat, or Windows or Mac. So you can install it. And we have very less go to market time. So you can go live within 1 day or 2 days with Splunk. And Splunk is a really open platform with all the API, SDK, where partners and developers can come and they can build their own app. And one more thing that I am focusing on, that Splunk can do use cases that are beyond security and compliance. So this is how Splunk can provide more value to the customer. Because if we see other solution, then they can only do single use case. Like ServiceNow has its own APM solution, so they can just monitor the applications, or Nagios can also monitor on the apps or servers or your hardware. But if you look at Splunk, so with single license, you can use cases across IT ops or business ops or application delivery or as a APM solution or as a SIM. So Splunk help you explore other use cases as well. And this is how we can provide more value to the customers. And if I have to take you through the portfolio, then
Hey viewers, are you looking for formal training on SRE practices? Take our SRE program. This course will teach you how to successfully implement site reliability engineering in the modern day 24/7 services. Kickstart your SRE training today. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
okay, so this is the data traveling platform that we say. So we either have Splunk Enterprise or Splunk Cloud. So if you want to go with on-prem, then we will go with Splunk Enterprise. And if you want to go with on cloud, then we go with Splunk Cloud. So Splunk Cloud will be managed by Splunk, and they will provide all the hardware, they will do the implementation. And Splunk Cloud provide you SLA guaranteed for 100%. But if you have your own cloud, like you have cloud on Azure or Google Cloud or Alibaba, then you can also deploy Splunk Enterprise there. So that will be managed by you or your team. And then on top of that, we have lots of free apps. So we have these apps on Splunk base. So Splunk base is just like a Play Store, like we have on mobile. So same way, you can go to Splunk base and you can look for a vendor, like you want to integrate a Palo Alto firewall. So what you will do is, first thing, you will integrate Palo Alto with Splunk, and then you will download this app. So this app will provide you all the pre-built dashboard and report. So I think we have around more than 1700 apps on Play Store. You can search Splunk base. And then we have few premium solutions like Splunk ITSI. That is for if you have like some services that you want to monitor and you want to predict them and you want to do some prediction. So for that, we have Splunk ITSI. So today focus will be on Splunk Enterprise Security. So Splunk Enterprise Security is Splunk SIM solution. And then if you want to do high level of UBA, like you want to do use case for zero-day malware attack or data exfiltration or some later moment. So for that, we have Splunk UBA. So it will be using Splunk machine learning and AI capabilities. And if you talk about SOAR platform, if you want to orchestrate and automate your SOC, for that we have Splunk Phantom. But if you just want to do any use case, like if you want to do UBA, like basic kind of UBA, like who are the user logging into your servers or from which geolocation they are logging in. So that kind of use case, you can do Splunk platform only. But if you want to leverage the machine learning and AI, so in that case, you require the Splunk UBA. If we talk about licensing, so licensing is done on the GB per day. So Splunk calculate it from midnight to midnight. So some solutions do it on EPS, but we do on GB per day. So how much raw data you ingest into Splunk, that we calculate. So let's say if you have EPS, because I'm sure you will be aware more about EPS. So let's say if you have 5,000 EPS. So for that, if we have to convert that into GB per day, so that will be around 130 GB per day. And okay, so first thing, every customer should be having a base platform. This is compulsory. And after that, if you want to go with Splunk Enterprise Security, then you can just install Enterprise Security on top of Splunk Enterprise. So this is just an app. And maybe after 6 months, as I said, we reuse the data. And after 6 months, you decide to go with Splunk UBA, then you can just install this app as well. It is really simple. So it is just like a plug and play. Okay, let me erase it. Okay, so any doubt till here? Or if you have any questions?
No.
Yeah,
That's good.
I have a question. Can you
Okay.
explain the Splunk Phantom again? What's
Okay,
its
so
use case?
okay, so just an example here. If you have a like malware attack, and if you have to raise a ticket for that, so your malware or your EDR team can take 1 day or 2 days to close the ticket, to scan the host and to close it. So what you can do is you can have Splunk Phantom there. So Splunk Phantom will automate the process. So you send the request to Splunk Phantom, so it will scan the host or it can contain the host. So you can say if you want to automate your SOC or you want to automate some of the repeatable tasks. For that, you can use Splunk Phantom. Or if you have a very large playbook, you can also build that. If I have to give example, like if you have malware, so what you will do? So first thing, you will raise a ticket manually, right? And then if you raise ticket with EDR team or your server team or antivirus team, then what they will do is they will scan the host, they will find a file, then they will check the reputation for that, like either it is malware or not from virus.org or some other website, and then they will block it or they will contain the host and they will erase everything from that and they will reinstall the OS. So same thing you can do with Splunk Phantom. You can create a playbook. So whenever there will be malware, you can run that playbook. So that playbook will automatically, first thing, it will check the host name, then it will check the file name, which is malicious. Then it will automatically check that on VirusTotal, either it is malicious or not. And if it is malicious, then it will contain the host or it will delete the malware file from that. So everything can be automated. So if you do it manually, it can take 4 hours, 1 day, 2 day, depending on the workload, and you can say depending on the task that your team is having. So according to priority of that case. So that can take 1 day or 2 day. But with Splunk Phantom, you can just close the ticket within 30 seconds. So your MTT time or MTTR time will be very low. Yeah, so that's what Splunk Phantom will do. It will automate the process and it will orchestrate it. So any doubt now?
No, thank you.
Okay. So let me check how many people we have. 10 people. Okay, so let's talk about which use case Splunk Enterprise Security can do. So Splunk Enterprise Security can do 8 use cases that we have categorized here. So first thing, we can do security monitoring if you have SOC and if you want to monitor it, or your infrastructure or environment. For that, we can do security monitoring for 24/7. And then we can do incident response. We can monitor the compliance. So whichever compliance you are following, we can tell you that this system is out of compliance and you need to apply some patches on that, or you have new update, you can apply them. So we can monitor all the compliances for you. And then we can do advanced threat detection. Like, so for that, we require to have the UBA. So like if you have use case for zero-day malware attack or for data exfiltration. So this kind of use case we can monitor here. And then we can automate the SOC. If you just want to do some basic level of automation, then that can be done with enterprise security. Like if you just want to block IP address on firewall, or if you just want to ping a host, or you want to do the NS lookup on IP address or the URL. So that kind of automation we can do with enterprise security. But if you want to create a very large playbook, Then for that, you will require the Splunk Phantom or any other source platform that you want to use. And then we can help you with investigations and forensics. So what Splunk can do is Splunk can capture the wire traffic, like we can capture HTTPS or DNS traffic or SMTP protocols. And we can have the PK file using Splunk Stream. So we can help you with incident investigations and forensics. And if you have some insider threat, like some user or employee is copying data through USB, or someone is uploading the data on Google Drive, or someone is taking data out of your company, then those kind of use case we can monitor with our base platform only, that is Splunk Enterprise. And then if you are working in the FSI sector or some e-commerce company like Flipkart or Amazon, then we can do fraud detection as well. Like we can identify the ATM fraud or debit card fraud, credit card fraud, or for maybe if you have working in e-commerce, then some customer is like doing multiple transactions within 5 minutes for the value ending 999. So this kind of use case we can do here. Also, we have use cases for money laundering as well. So that depends which use case you want to do. So Splunk is really flexible, and Splunk can help you build any use cases that you want to do. That depends on your data. And I believe every customer has their own set of use cases that they want to monitor, and they are not fixed. So every customer will be having their own use case that they want to monitor, and they will never match. Okay, so what Splunk do is, so Splunk start with asking a customer like what their pain point are. Then we will start with the specific issue that customer is having, and then we will try to solve that issue or pain point across multiple domain. And then we build the security operation center for him, like you can say SOC or NOC. And then we try to collaborate across multiple teams, like if you have your EDR team, antivirus team, or server team, network team. So we build a practice and we try to help customers have the collaborative approach. And then we bring in our enterprise security and SOAR platform at center of the whole, you can say, environment. We try to build the now center where we can automate lots of tasks for them, and they can have better ROI, and they can have better MTTR time or MTTA time. So those things can be reduced. So Splunk Enterprise Security and Phantom try to fit into that phase of the journey. And every customer has their own journey. So some customers just want to start with basic security monitoring. But as they will keep on maturing with time, then we can come back and help them build the practice for them. Okay, so before I jump into this module, I just want to ask, like, if anyone want to see how we can install Splunk on a server, or you already have that idea how to do installation. So if you are already aware of that, then we can just skip this topic. Otherwise, I can just showcase you within 5 minutes or 10 minutes.
Just maybe super fast it and
Okay.
yeah, and then just like try to put the thing how exactly Splunk internally work and to put the
Mhm.
things together so that we
Okay.
can get an idea.
Okay. So let's discuss the architecture of Splunk first. So Splunk has three components. You can say basic component to work. So first thing will be the forwarders. So forwarders will collect the data from our remote machines, and then they will send that data to the indexers. So indexers is where we store the data and we parse the event. So parsing and indexing is done at the indexer. And then we have search head. So search head will provide us GUI. So where our team will be sitting and they will be making search on search head. And if you want to install enterprise security, because I said Splunk Enterprise Security is just an app that you will download from the Splunk base, and it is a paid app. So you have to pay as per GB per day. So same license that you have for your Splunk Enterprise, same license will be required for ES. So you need to install enterprise security. So as per Splunk best practices, so this app should be installed on a dedicated search head. So in that case, one search ad will be extra for you to make that installation. So how Splunk Enterprise Security will work? So first thing, a raw event will be indexed from different data sources into indexes. So how that is done? So that is done by when we generate the data from our remote machines, either it is firewalls or network devices or any servers. That data will be forwarded to our indexers and it will be indexed into Splunk. And then Splunk Enterprise Security majorly works on data models. So I'm not sure if you have heard about what data model will do. Okay, so anyone know what the data models are in Splunk? Okay, so what data models will do is, so data models try to it will try to help you normalize the data. Like if you have multiple data sources, like one is firewall and one is Windows Server, and just consider your firewall has logs in which you are writing username as user equal to maybe let's say admin, and in your server it is username equal to admin. So you can see, let me open the drawing tool.
But those are configurable, is it right? Like you can configure, change it based upon
Yes,
that
yes,
one. So because
right.
when when you are doing an index search, so it's searching somewhere and trying to put the thing is stuff so that it is having creating a
Right.
custom. Okay, sounds good.
Okay, so initially it will not be done by default. So what you have to do is you have to create the field aliases, like you have to give the nicknames. You can say, like you can convert user into username. So it will be done across all the data sources. And then we map all the data into data models. So what data model will do is they will help us in creating the pivots. Like if you want to put your data into some good looking dashboards or visualization, so that will help you. And data models are really fast as compared to index data. So we can accelerate the data models. Like if you have a very large amount of data and your reports and dashboards are really slow, so what you can do is alternatively, you can normalize it first, and then you can map your data to right data source or to a right data model, and then you can accelerate the data model. So whenever you have the accelerated data model, so those data will be stored into time series indexes, like we call them as the TSIDX files. So we will be storing them into key value pairs, like source IP equal to this, or destination equal to this, or port equal to this. So Splunk Enterprise Security majorly works on the data models. And then data will be made available to enterprise security through the data models. So in Splunk, we have a command called stat. So if you want to apply any statistical functions, for that we use the stat command. Like if you want to identify the count for the failed password attempt by user admin. So for that we will use the command stat count by admin. And in case of data models, whenever it is accelerated, in that case we will be putting tstat. So tstat will be looking for accelerated data only, and then that data will be made available to dashboards. And after that, the data
So
is
when you said
already. Mhm.
So when you say that it's a time series based, is it right? So all those
Right,
config stuff stuff is coming like a row of logs is coming on the time series, and then whatever the logic is there based upon the time series, you are collecting a piece of
right,
a okay, and then on top of it, something else
right,
is happening.
right. So first thing that Splunk says that all the data that ingests should be a time series data. So every event should be having a, you can say, timestamp associated to that. So because if we have timestamp associated to every event, then it is really easy to search it and correlate it, like when it happened. If the timestamp is wrong and if there is no timestamp, then we cannot say what time this event happened, right? That's why. And then enterprise security will be having all the searches that will be running into background, like it can be save searches, or it can be coalition rules, or it can be threat intels that will be looking for IOC or event of compromise, or you can say for the notable events. So notable events are nothing but just a coalition rule that is triggering. And then enterprise security searches for threat or anomaly, and enterprise security will be writing those results into the notable event and into some indexes. And also we have a specific data model for to store the notable event. So I will showcase you that as well.
Hey viewers, trying to get into DevSecOps? Enroll for our DevSecOps certified professional programs and earn the certification that shows you are fit for these technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
Okay, so in enterprise security related data is acquired by add-on. So as we discuss apps, so as add-on are just a subset of app. So add-on help us to put the data into dashboards, but these are add-ons which will be helping us to collect the data. Like if you have a Windows server, so on that Windows server, on a forwarder, we have to push the add-on to that forwarder. So that add-on can collect the data, it can do the right source typing, or it can assign the host names, or it can assign the source names, and it can be pushed to the our indexes. And on at indexes we have the app, so those apps will help us to publish the data into dashboards. So best way to get the data from any data source in enterprise security is using the add-on. If you have the technology add-on already built in for any data source, just use that, and that can be searchable on the Splunk page. So let me showcase you. Okay, so you can just search for Splunk page, .splunk.com. So let's say you have a Palo Alto firewall. Okay, so you can see we have the add-on and then we have the app. So this add-on will go either at the firewall side or at the syslog server side. And this app will be on the Splunk indexes or on Splunk search head to make the data present on the dashboards. That's how it will work. So add-on will get the data, it will parse it, it will extract all the fields, and then it will send the data to this app. So this app will help us to put the data into dashboards. So same way, if you have any other data source like Cisco, let's see, you can see for Cisco we have the add-on, and then same way we will be having an app as well, like Cisco network app for Splunk Enterprise. So yeah,
So
yes,
Aman over here. So it's all add-on is meaning is like Splunk has created their common data model for that source system,
right.
and they know like what exactly to what indexes to be get done and what text to search and
Mhm,
how to put together in terms of
mhm.
getting the
Right.
data.
So right. So if you have the add-on, so this add-on will provide you first thing, it will do the source typing, it will give the right host name if you want, it will give you the right source name, and after that what it will do is it will extract the field extractions, like it will extract fields like src, that is for source ip, dst for destination ip, then source port, then username. So like that field extraction will be done by the add-on. And then if you have the right field extraction, then it will be able to map to the data models. So like if you are extracting data from a window device with the servers, then that data will be mapped to the authentication data model. Like if you have authentication data, so this will be the data model to which it will be mapped. So same way for field extraction. So there are some more things that can be done by add-on, like it can do the tagging, it can assign the right tag. And apart from that, it can do the event typing, event type that can be assigned, or sometimes Splunk requires some macros, so it will create the macros as well. So it will be really difficult to cover all these things into 4 hours, but we have a different course for that. Like if you want to learn how to create dashboard reports, knowledge object, how to implement Splunk, so we have dedicated course for multiple hours, like 14, 15 hours each. So these are the basic things that will be done by the add-on, and apart from that it will assign into the right index, like which index you want to send the data. And then after that you have the apps. So apps will help you publish the all this data into the dashboard, because if you're not using the add-on, then your source type can change, your field extractions can change, and then that will not be as per the dashboard that we have created, pre-built dashboard in apps. it will do reports and dashboards. So these are the functionality of your apps. Okay, like here you can see for McAfee vulnerability assessment tool, we have the source title McAfee. Or for IPS IDs, we have different add-on, like Personote we have, for Dragon IDs we have a different add-on, for McAfee we have different add-on. So these add-ons are available on Splunk base. One can download and install. Okay, so enterprise security, as I said, heavily depend on the data models. So all the dashboard that will be created into our enterprise security will be created using the data models. And instead of stat, we will be using the tstat command that will be searching only for the accelerated data. We, as I said, we require a dedicated search ad because our data models are really heavy and these can put on lots of pressure, or you can say lots of load on our search ad. And if you have a single search ad, that is a common search ad for Splunk Enterprise and for enterprise security, that will not be able to handle that. And these are the data models that help us to normalize the data. But in Splunk, we don't do any aggregation like you will see in different vendors like Logarithm, McAfee, IBM. They try to aggregate the event, but in Splunk, we do not aggregate the data. We only normalize it. Okay, so if you are aware how to write SPLs, so SPL is a Splunk processing language that is combination of capability of SQL and Unix pipeline syntax. And we have lots of command for that, like we have stat command, tstat, from command, table, where if you want to do some comparison or if you want to make any search, for that we have search command. So, but if you are not aware how to write a query or how to make a search, for that also some things can be done. Like you can just use Splunk as in Google. Like on Google, you put a keyword and it will return all the results that will be matching that keyword. Same way, like if you only know that there's a keyword called fail in your logs, you can just put that into search bar and can make a search for that. And you can see all the log that has the fail or anything after fail, like failed. So it will be able to search that. So these are logs, it is able to search. On the top, you have the timeline when this event happened. And then these are fields that have been extracted, like action field. So these are the fields that we have, like which host it is coming from. These are the host names. Then these are the source names. Then we have source types, like it is coming from your NetScreen firewall or Juniper SSL or VPN. Then if you want to check the username, so we will be having the field for user as well, like we have user and username both, like this one. Okay, now just to give example, if you want to search for like who are the user who had the failed login attempt, so for that we can do stats, like we can apply stats command, and then you can apply stats count by user. Let's see what result will be return. Okay, so you can see these are the usernames, and then these are the count of attempt that they made, right? So you can save it as a dashboard, report, or alert, depend on you. If you want to create a visualization, that can also. So we have different type of visualization here, like common chart or line chart. You can do. Let's do it for last 15 minutes only, so that we can see some. Okay, you can see this is the line chart. So we have different type of visualization here: line chart, area chart, then column chart or bar chart, pie chart. So you can do any type of visualization that you want to do with your data. So for that, you should be aware how to write the SPL here. So for that, different courses are available, like fundamental one that is free on Splunk website. Or if you want to learn more about SPL, then we have fundamental 2, but that is paid. So let's go back here. So if you have to create any use case, for that you should be known how to write SPL. So all the use cases will be built through the SPL that we write. Now let's see how to install Splunk. So I will skip these few slides because okay. So let's go. So Splunk can be deployed in variety of configurations that you want to do. But when you talk about data, like if you have data source and you are sending that data to Splunk, so how it will be going through the pipeline. So first thing we will be having the input pipeline where the data will be sent from a data source, and then it will go to parsing phase where all the field will be extracted, and then same raw data will be indexed into the indexes, and then we have search ad that will make the search. Search ad will send the search request to the indexers, and indexers will create a report and send back to the search ad. So Splunk can be deployed on a single server as well, but that is majorly done when you have very small customer. Like if you have data less than 40 to 50 GB per day, or if you have 3 to 4 users who will be making search on the dashboard, or let's say if you have data storage less than 500 MB, 500 GB per day. So in that case, you can have the single server deployment. But if you are exceeding the data ingestion more than 40 to 50 GB, or you are having 4 to 5 users more than 4 to 5, or if you are having retention for a very long time and that is more than 500 GB, so in that case you should be going with the distributed environment. Like you should be having dedicated search ad, dedicated indexer, and some other functionality that Splunk can do. But single server is majorly used for testing or POC purpose, or if you want to learn Splunk. In that case, you can use the single server. Sorry. Okay, so I will skip that. Okay, so if you have more data, in that case, this configuration can be distributed. You can have different forwarders installed on the remote machines that will be inputting the data to indexes. You can have multiple indexes and multiple searches depending on the requirement. But if you have a requirement for enterprise security, in that case, add one more search ad for only for enterprise security. Okay. Okay, now how to install Splunk. So first thing you should be aware which software to install. So Splunk only has two software packages. One is Splunk Enterprise, one is for Universal Forwarder. So Splunk Enterprise can be used to install the indexer, search ad, deployment server, license master, heavy forwarder, or master node. So this single software can behave as any of these functions that you want to make it. So for that we have a single software, and one software we have the forwarder. So that will be installed on the remote machine to get the data. So now if you want to have the indexer, so for that also we require the enterprise security, Splunk Enterprise. Now you want to install the dedicated search ad, for that also Splunk Enterprise will be used. And when we install, so Splunk has some checklist before we install it. So Splunk, when you install Splunk on any server, so it should not be installed on the root user. So you should be creating a dedicated user for Splunk installation, and that user should be given the sudo access, or you should add that into the sudo list. And then all Splunk servers will be synchronized with the entity server, and all Splunk ports will be opened. Give me a second, I just have some water. And Splunk have some setting that is recommended by Splunk to change on the Linux servers. And then your installations or your server should be matching with the minimum requirement of your servers that you should have. And after installation, you should be running Splunk at boot. So whenever your server is restarted, so Splunk will automatically restart. And you can enable the monitoring console. So monitoring console is to monitor Splunk system, either they are behaving right or not. So let's see how it can be installed. Let me take you through that. Okay, so on Windows, you can just download the package that will be .msi file or exe file, and it can be installed. Very simple. And in case of Unix, you can either have the tarball or you can have the db package, or if it is a Red Hat, then we can have the rpm package. So let me take you to that. So I have a VM here, so I will open the SSH for that. And so here you can see current version is 8.0.6, and you can choose your OS. So I will be installing on Linux, and I will be using the db package. So let's download it. So there are two ways to download it. Either you can download the file and move it to the server, or you can have the wget command, and using that you can install it. So it will take me to the download page. Okay, so here you can get the wget command line. Just copy it. Okay, now let me go to the, it's taking some time. Okay, so I'm here. Okay, so for this demo I will install it with the root account or sudo account. Okay, so I will, first thing we will download it.
Hey viewers, our Mastery in DevOps engineering program can help you to hone the skills necessary to succeed in high-level DevOps positions. So, what are you waiting for? Enroll now and earn certification that show you are keeping pace with today's technical roles and requirements. Contact info is mentioned in the video sidebars and in the description box. Book your seats for the upcoming batches now.
It will be downloaded, and after that you have to uncompress it. So let's see if we have the file or not. So you can see this has been downloaded here. Now we have to uncompress it. So for that we have command dpkg -i, and then we have to put the package. It will be uncompress, and by default Splunk home directory is, let me tell you. So Splunk always should be installed into opt/splunk directory. So this is what Splunk we say as Splunk home, you can say. So Splunk should be always installed here. So when we have the db file, it will automatically put it into the this directory. But if you are using the tar package, in that case you have to tell Splunk to install it into the /opt/splunk. But for db package you need not to do anything, it will be done by default. Let's see if it has been uncompressed or not. Yeah, it will take some time, I guess. Okay, so till the time it will uncompress, if you have any doubt you can ask. Anyone have any questions? Okay, so I will consider no questions here. So okay, so this has been uncompressed. So let's see if we have into what we have into opt directory. Let's see, we will be having directory called Splunk here. So Splunk is here. So after that, Splunk has more directories. Let me showcase you. Let me give you some overview on that. Okay, so there are Splunk directory structure. So Splunk home is /opt/Splunk, and then we have three directory. One is bin, one is etc, one is var. So in bin directory we have all the script, like if you want to start Splunk, stop Splunk, so all the scripts will be available in the bin directory, and all the licenses and configuration file, like so Splunk has different config file, like input.config file, or you can say output.config, transform.config. So these files will be available here. So all the apps and user files will be available into etc. And then we have var directory. So all the databases like indexes. So Splunk has concept of indexes. So these indexes will be available into var directory. So let's go back to our command line. So now we have to go to Splunk. cd opt Splunk. Now we have to go to Splunk bin, right? Because from bin directory we can execute a script. Okay, now you can run Splunk, /Splunk, you can start it. So if you directly start, it will give you the license agreement. So we want to skip that. For that, we will do the accept license. Accept license. Okay. Now let's do it. Okay, so again it is asking for license. Let me clear the screen. Splunk start. Okay, I have put the wrong spelling here. Accept license. So it will ask you to give username. Okay, I put the wrong username here. So okay, let's do the password. It will be installed now. You can see. So Splunk has some default port that we should know. So Splunk D will be, or Splunk management port is 8089. And then for Splunk Web, we have the 8000 port. And for Splunk Web Server Proxy, we have 8065. And for KV Store, we have 8191. So majorly, these two ports. One is Splunk D and Splunk Web. So if you want to browse it on the browser, then we require the Splunk Web port. But if you want to do some management kind of thing, for that we have the Splunk D port. So let's see it has been installed or not. Okay, so it has been installed. So I have to access the public IP. So my public IP is this one. Let's see. And then you have to give the port number 8000. Okay, so you can see it has been installed, and you can log in into it. Okay, so now you can make login. Accept the licenses and all. Okay, now so here in the left hand side you can see apps. So one app that I have is search and reporting, right? And here in setting, if you want to change some settings like server name, or you want to change the host name, so these settings will be available in the server settings. Let me just take you through that. Okay, so we have general setting. If you want to change the login background image, that can be done here. Okay, if you want to have some general settings like server name, management port, or if you want to use the Splunk web or not, if you want to enable the HTTPS, you can enable that. So if you want to change the any port numbers for web port or app server port, that can be changed here. If you want to change the host name, that can be changed. So we will not make any changes here. But if you want to add some data, that can be done from here, add data. And you can create any indexes here in indexes. So just to give example here, if you have two different teams, like one is your security team and one is network team. So you have to segregate the data. So network team data should be stored in the network index. And for security, you want to store the data in security. And then you can just assign the access to security team for the security index. So role-based access can be given to our users. And same way, if you have different customers, like customer A, B, and C, for them also you can create a new index. Like for customer A, create an index A, or customer A, customer B, customer C. So they will only have visibility to their data only. Like here, I can create for network and save it. If you want to add any storage path, do here. If you want to do the data integrity check, they enable it. Like you can set the default tab. Done. Same way, if you want to add the data, we have different options to add the data from here. That can be done. like here, if you want to upload a log file, so in this case, for simple reason, I can showcase that only. I will upload a log file. Okay, I have to select a file from here. Okay, I have to go to download. Okay, I can just add a log file from here. Now do the next. Now you can see it is able to break the line, but if it is not able to break the line, you get different options from here. You can break it at every line. It looks better now. Save the new source type, and then do next. And then you can change the host name from here if you want to do. And then it will ask you in which index you want to store the data. So let's store into network that we just created here, and review it, submit it. It will be.
Thanks for watching. Want to study further? Join our training programs today.